I share what I'm listening to and my thoughts on music and the business daily for free at helloyassine.com.
What's poppin', y'all? This interesting dialogue between Adin Ross and PlaqueBoyMax spurred a lot of conversation about Adin Ross potentially trying to take advantage. It was somewhat of a meme as well. They were all just joking and in on the joke. But I think we can create a really good and valuable conversation around this, because if we were to take it at face value, there are some interesting repercussions that can come out of this. So I'm gonna play you guys the clip right now.
Max, I wanna pick your brain, bro. I wanna pitch you an offer you cannot refuse. I wanna, you know what I mean? I wanna help you out. Like, going to a record label for 5-star, I'll fund it, and you could be like your own self-owned industry. I fucking love that shit. Like, you need to be your own music label. Like, I'll fund everything. I got the money. Let me do it. You know what I mean? Like, let me help you, bro.
God.
Let me be your Live Nation.
I think I just witnessed like the power.
Hey, let me be.
You don't understand it, Max.
Let me do.
Jewish power. That was like, let me. Sit up.
Let me put money in your pocket, Max. Trust me. Trust me, dude.
That's what the labels say, boy.
I'm good. I'm good. I appreciate the offer, though.
The 1080 deals are dead.
Yeah, this nigga. I already know what this nigga trying to do. Get out of here, nigga.
So here you hear it, where we've seen for now, PlaqueBoyMax, he's been making his own music as a rapper. He's also been engineering stuff. He is more of, I wouldn't necessarily say, because Adin Ross wasn't a musician at all. That's why I don't want to say he's more of a musician than Adin Ross. But he's more of a music streamer than Adin Ross ever was. Because Adin Ross, initially, he got rappers on, but he was a 2K streamer. He was a personality streamer, IRL, E-dates, all that other type of stuff. And then he started to have rappers on. He had rappers do some freestyles, like the viral Tory Lanez freestyle that was fire. I think Rick and Morty, wasn't Rick and Morty on Adin Ross's stream by Soulja Boy? That Rick and Morty freestyle that turned into a song, one of the more successful songs by Soulja Boy other than She Make It Clap, which I think was in that same year. So those moments happened for Adin Ross, but Adin Ross just, he's not a musician. That's it. He's not an engineer. Maybe he has his own taste, of course, but he couldn't push things to that next level with the music stuff. However, when you get the skill that PlaqueBoyMax has, the fact that I think he's somewhat used his personality and generally like entertainment-based content to blow himself up higher to be able to do more music to a wider audience. Because initially when he was kind of doing it with these underground artists, and I'm talking years ago, maybe like 2021, 2022. I think it was, I was about to say Chris Travis. Nah, PlaqueBoyMax he's really, really young for Chris Travis. Young Chris, I think it was. Like, he played basketball with him, and he was hanging out with these other rappers. He would have gotten, not pigeonholed, but there's a ceiling that you can hit, which is just underground rap fans. And he would never be averaging the viewers that he had right now with underground rap fans. But he's still holding up this element of music now, where he's doing these in the booths, which are similar to / inspired by Kenny Beats' In the Cave series. And there's nothing wrong. Like, even that series is probably inspired by something else. So people will just try to ascribe, oh, this, you got it from this guy, to, I personally think, to take credit away from the individual. That's the tone it comes off most of the time. But now we've also got these Song Wars competitions that PlaqueBoyMax is hosting, where you have underground acts, they're competing. You have people that submit beats from PlaqueBoyMax's community or his Discord to be on stream or to be in one of these songs. That's exactly what happened with Pink Dreads. That song was from one of the community members of PlaqueBoyMax. They submitted the beat for that, and they got on and they made the song. So naturally, what people assume from this is, oh, okay, well, maybe he's gonna start working with one artist in particular, or a couple of artists, or maybe do his own tape. I said that he should do this, and it's not like I said something brilliant or out of the ordinary or smart. I do say those things sometimes, but this was not one of them, which was, like him having a 5-star tape, which is kind of like what Lyrical Lemonade did, Cole Bennett did with Lyrical Lemonade. It came out later than I think most would have liked, but I thought it was a solid tape. If you haven't, you should check it out. But on that tape, it's kind of like a DJ Khaled, where PlaqueBoyMax has all of these other acts on him. He's the main artist, but he has these people featured on it, and maybe they appeared on stream, maybe the songs were made on stream, although I don't know how that works. But right now, the audience for the majority of Max's music that he's put out is his own audience. So for him to be able to succeed in music, he needs to get an audience of people that know the music, like the music, but have no idea who he is or the fact that he streams. Or maybe they find out later. Because until then, then you're not really pushing it as an artist. It's kind of like a KSI, right? KSI has had top charting hits on the UK charts. We're not calling KSI a rapper. We're not calling him a singer. We're not calling him a musician. And if you are calling him that, then you do not fall in we. I'd like you to just step outside of the classroom for this particular video. You can come back next time, but KSI is not an artist. The guy's garbage. And I'm just saying that, well, not only is he garbage, but I'm saying he's not an artist because the majority of the people, or almost the entirety of the people that listen to KSI's music, is due to the fact that they like KSI and they enjoy him as a content creator, not just the music alone, which is where DDG is a contrast to this, because there were tons of people listening to Moonwalking and Calabasas that had no idea who DDG was, or the fact that he was a YouTuber, or had ever watched any of his content. So when Adin Ross offers this money to PlaqueBoyMax, money is kind of useless in this situation, because PlaqueBoyMax has enough money. Does Adin Ross have more money? Yeah, Adin Ross does have more money. It doesn't matter though. PlaqueBoyMax could fund this if he wanted to. It would just be like taking a loss on it. And the thing is, music is not profitable. It's not as profitable as what he's doing. And he's already dealt with the stress of music. For example, Pink Dreads. I think this put a sour taste in PlaqueBoyMax's mouth, which it should for anybody, because he's looking at it like, yo, I hop on stream, I make my bag, I throw my videos up on YouTube, I got my stuff going on TikTok, I got my subs, I got my Twitch ads, I'm eating. And I don't have to deal with any stress. But I drop a song that hadn't even made, $50,000, maybe less. And my cut of that song was going to be a sliver of that. And then I have to go through lawyers and I have to go through signing documents. And then somebody takes the song down. And then I got to film a music video for the song for something that's going to generate me barely any money. So this is really a passion project for the guy. And so not only is it more of a headache, but it's less profitable because you got to split everything up. Like all the money that Max is getting, he's getting all of it. Maybe he's paying employees or people on his team a salary, but he's not paying them a percentage of what he's getting overall. And that's what he would have to do if he was doing music. So music just is not it's not a great business. Like, look at music and how it ranks in terms of profitability of all the other businesses. And this is why money doesn't really help, because you can't just throw money at a problem. A lot of artists that never made it had investors and they had people putting money into them for years and they just didn't make it. Even record labels who know the system and know how to blow up an artist, some artists just don't make it and they have to cut them off. And this is why it makes so much more sense for PlaqueBoyMax to do this with a record label as opposed to Adin Ross, because with a record label, they know and they have the relationships to be able to push PlaqueBoyMax's vision as far as he wants. And he's coming in with so much leverage that he doesn't care about the money. So a lot of rappers that are trying to get signed, they want some money for themselves. So the marketing budget may have to go down with PlaqueBoyMax. And it's similar to Academics, who had a deal himself. He didn't need the money from the label, so they could just spend it all on marketing. And he was even saying that he had a budget in that label that was sitting there for over a year and a half, because he didn't know what to use it on. He didn't sign any artists. So it was just sitting around. I think recently he said he used it to pay off some employees for the main Academics business. I don't know how all that works. I'm not going to get into accounting. But this is where the important conversation comes in with, well, with enough money, couldn't you just use the same systems that record labels have? And to this, I'm going to bring an interesting comparison. So I need you guys to bear with me here. This is actually, we're going to go into fitness. So on fitness YouTube, there's this guy, Greg Doucette. He has a supplement business. Most of these guys have supplement businesses. And he sells this turkesterone thing. And it's from a plant, and people believe that it helps you build muscle. So a lot of other supplement companies sell fake turkesterone, so they call it. Like, it's maybe a far lesser concentrate, and it's not as good as his product. So he claims, and they got it tested and all of that other stuff. But what he says and what he flexes is, hey, we went to Uzbekistan, we linked up with this factory, farm, etc., that's able to get this plant, and they have a deal directly with us where they won't sell to anybody else. So you're only getting the real stuff off of me. And other people have approached them, and they're loyal because we went with them in the beginning. Nobody else was working with them at the time, and we've done very good business with them, and they've honored us, and they choose to stay just working with us. This is the relationship that many record labels have with radio stations, with Spotify playlists, with Apple Music playlists, or the people that run those playlists, the editorials. You got to think about it in the sense that the record labels, they have been paying radio stations, they have been maybe paying journalists with ads or whatever it may be for decades. So the people that are in charge of Spotify editorials, the people that are in charge of Apple Music editorials, just think Ebro, for instance, right? The people that are, what else? Like in charge of digital marketing for a lot of places, in charge of Complex, all of these other outlets, they have been paid by and have had relationships with people at record labels for decades. So if they tell them like, hey, this guy's money is no good here, they're not going to say that specifically, but they're less likely to push a song like that. And Russ talked about like, hey, I got a radio team, I got this team or that team, and they can help me push songs, but we haven't seen a Russ song take off to the heights that his music has potential to do, like it did when he first signed to Columbia. And he made those connections while he was at Columbia. So even with Adin Ross throwing millions of dollars, it would just have to be on like organic marketing, hoping something takes off on TikTok and goes super viral to the point where it can spread. But it's never going to get to the point where it's charting consistently on the Hot 100. That is another level. You need a record label or a strong distribution label to partner up with to do something like that. And that's what Max can do. So he can probably own all his masters and just get some sort of a deal where, and this is the thing, the money aspect doesn't matter. So for him, he's probably looking at it like, yo, I want my music to go as crazy as possible. I want to be able to perform because I've already got the money part figured out, which is the difference between him and the situation that he's in and the majority of other artists who need to think about how much they're getting paid, which also circles us back to the conversation around masters and why people believe masters are so valuable. And Lupe Fiasco had a very, very good take on this when he wanted his masters, and he was talking to Leor Cohen, who is not the most favored guy within hip hop. And he was telling him, what do you want your masters for? You're going to put them in like a little bag and walk around with them or something like that? And the message that Lupe Fiasco got from it later is your masters are only as valuable as what you're able to do with them. And we are able to do a lot more with your masters than you could do by yourself. And that's not saying that Leor Cohen wanted the best for him, but he's just saying like, hey, even if we gave you your masters, what the hell are you going to do with it? Are you going to go pick up the phone and hit up Warner Brothers, the movie studio, and say, hey, what do you guys got down the pipeline? Are you guys going to hit up Hulu and say, hey, what do you guys got down the pipeline? I'm trying to get some of my songs on there. Are you going to hit up NBA 2K? They're basically telling me, hey, buddy, this is what we can do. This is what we've done. And this is why we have your masters, which it's an interesting conversation, but I don't want to draw this video out too long. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Do you think Adin Ross would be able to pull it off? You got to think Adin Ross, the guy's just trying to build an empire. I think he was serious and joking when he brought this up because the guy's not even committed to music. Like, for you to really succeed in music as a label head, as an artist, whatever, it has to be the only thing you do. You can't be in like creating events and streaming yourself and putting other people on and running other businesses and doing the music thing. Money is just not enough to get the music out there. You need connections at the level that PlaqueBoyMax would want. But yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Go to helloyassine.com. Thank you for watching. Peace.